Ahead of Women's Equality Day tomorrow, we have reached a new milestone in corporate America this past quarter. 25% of U.S. public company board seats in the Russell 3000 are now held by women. That's according to corporate leadership data firm Equilar. And almost half of new directors hired in this quarter were women. Progress, yes, but at this rate, it will still take 8 years to reach gender parity. Joining us now is Audrey Robertson, co-founder and CFO of Franklin Mountain Energy. It's a private oil and gas company operating in the Permian Basin. She's recently been appointed to the boards of Bonanza Creek Energy and Liberty Oil Field Services. Audrey, welcome. Important topic. You know, we've seen data and research showing that more diverse boards increase financial performance and definitely help with bringing diversity of thought around the table. What's your experience as to why this issue of gender representation is so important?
Well, thank you first for having me. And it's a big issue. And I think it's a real opportunity for us as women professionals to recognize that celebrating tomorrow is celebrating not just the major milestones that have been hit so far, bringing gender parity to all areas of our lives, but that there's a long way to go. You point out the Russell 3000 board gender parity won't be achieved until 8 years from now, and that's just a lot of time for corporate boardrooms to catch up. There's not a lack of women who are talented and well suited to serve on corporate boards and represent shareholders and assist executive teams in executing a strategy. I think it's really a question of corporate boards and their investors making the decision to increase diversity.
But in your experience, how does it manifest? Why is this a good thing? Why do we need to be encouraging more of this?
My experience being on 3 public company boards was there was a traditional path, frankly, of most corporate board members. I started in the executive world, in the private equity space. I started a company in the oil and gas space. And after becoming an executive, I was invited to the table, and having a seat at the table meant that I was able to talk to CEOs about questions in their business. They were able to ask me questions about my company and how we were tackling specific issues. And when the time came for, the first board I joined was a company called Extraction Oil and Gas. They are operators in Colorado, and that's primarily where my assets in my last business were focused. And they didn't invite me on their board because I was a diverse candidate. They asked me to join their board because I had specific domain knowledge that they believed could help them execute their business strategy. Through the other boards I've sat on, I'd say it'd be a similar path, in that most recently Liberty Oil Field Services is a extraordinary company that I've followed. I've been a customer and a user of their services and a follower of what they do in terms of bringing great technology into the energy space. So my role on that board is really to be a customer of theirs, to help them make better decisions as one of the constituents of that business, but obviously looking out for shareholders.
Audrey, do you think that once 50% is reached, it'll become a self-fulfilling factor for trickle down throughout the rest of the company, not just at the board level?
Wilf, I think it's really industry specific. I mean, I'm in one of the most male-dominated industries in the United States. Oil and gas is not known to be a gender equal industry for a variety of reasons. I don't think 50% parity means that 50% parity will trickle down. I think the biggest issue, in my opinion, is that there's not enough women at the C-suite that are able to drive change across the organization. And there's the pathway to becoming an executive is not necessarily one that a lot of women choose, or that it's an easy path. I know that I felt like I had to work harder and be better than everyone around me to succeed against my mostly male peers. But I don't think gender parity at the board level will mean gender parity across an industry. I think that's very specific to the industry itself.
Well, Audrey, thanks so much for joining us today and sharing those points of view. Much appreciated.